Alrighty. Welcome back, everyone, to David and Aaron Save the World yet again.
Indeed.
Episode 15 now. That's a big deal.
That's 15 episodes.
That's more than 10.
Man, it's been over a year since we started recording this, and man, for some of you, like, you've been listening for the whole year, and we really appreciate that, especially because we don't think we're that funny most of the time. But, like, thank you.
But on the bright side, think about how many minutes we have of you laughing in a microphone.
Wow.
At some point, we'll be able to deep learn on that laugh, and Siri will be able to laugh just like you.
Could we do that? Could we do that, David? That sounds so amazing.
We should. My goal is to get enough audio of you that I can make a robot that talks exactly like you in any context. But you didn't know this is secretly like the biggest research project I've ever done in my life, and
Wow.
I'm just gathering data without you knowing.
I'm so excited. I can't wait till my phone will speak back to me in my own voice. And I can hijack other people's phones and put my voice on their phones, and so like all of a sudden I'm just talking to them all the time, and this is a good thing. I'm really excited. I'm really excited.
You know when you like use Siri or one of the voice, what do they call those? Voice assistants.
Yeah.
It like lets you choose an accent.
Yeah.
But one of these days, pretty soon, you'll just be scrolling through looking for accents, and it'll just say Aaron as the option.
Beautiful. They'll be able to hear me laugh everywhere they go, because I'll laugh at them all the time.
Whenever they ask a question, it's just you laughing for the first 5 seconds, and then you respond.
What a strange question. Let me answer that for you. Beautiful.
Oh dear. This is now on my project list.
Oh, thank you.
Behind a couple of other ones we've done on the podcast.
Yeah.
One day.
One day. This one actually seems reasonable to me, though, because, like, I don't know. Not that our other projects are unreasonable, just that, like, this one seems extra reasonable.
This one seems very aligned with my deep learning computer science background.
Exactly. It seems like it.
Unlike the billion-dollar database that we wanted to build.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. I can't wait for somebody to get on top of that so I can see it, so that I don't have to wait any longer.
Yeah, but in the meantime, this may get pushed up to the top of the list just because it's a little bit more direct.
Excellent.
Easily accomplished.
Well, see, and I think I would benefit more from this than I would benefit from most of our other projects. So I think it's full speed ahead and green lights, and just let's get it going. Let's get it going.
I'll get to work on that. I got some time on Saturday, so should be able to get that up and running for you.
Thanks, David. I'm glad you do all the work. Makes this podcast really a nice experience for me. So thank you.
Well, in the meantime, until that's ready to go and we have a robot Aaron we can talk to, let's hear from our actual Aaron in this podcast to get some more data points.
Yes.
But,
yes.
If we may, can I start with some follow-ups?
Please do.
So last time we had quite a thorough discussion on box mixes and the grains of life, if you will, that
yes
turn into all the delicious goodness
Oh.
that we can obtain and cook on our whims, which is quite pleasant, as we discussed.
Yes, it is one of the most pleasant things in my life.
Again, I was trying to put it in general, but yes, really, this is something that I know is deeply pleasant for you, much more than it is for me, but... Yes, everybody has an obsession about box mixes. Yes, of course.
Yes,
everybody loves box mixes,
right? Yes,
as much as Aaron does.
But see, I'm sorry, I forgot that there was like a whole world of people other than me that was excited about this stuff.
Yes, the weird thing is just that they don't all have the same preferences as you.
Right,
if you
right.
think about it.
Like, why doesn't everyone just choose an almond poppy seed? I can't figure it out. I can't know. But it's all good. It's all good. Whatever.
It's true.
Whatever.
It's true. Continuing on that,
Yeah.
I did have a question for you.
Okay.
And I don't know why it didn't come to my mind while I was thinking about this.
Yeah.
But when you say box mix, I presume you are taking the time to put everything together and bake these items, right? That you are getting out of the box mixes.
Oh, put together. What do you mean? Like
Sorry, you pour the powder, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it says add an egg and
and some
put in
oil
milk
and
or
some
whatever.
water and
then you put it in the oven for 20 minutes and it comes back out.
exactly.
Right?
Yes.
So for most of my life, that was the only way I thought you could consume box mixes.
Yeah. Oh, wait.
But-
Okay.
But my wife introduced me to what she calls and her family calls cake bowls.
Cake bowls? What is this?
Cake bowls.
Do tell. Do tell.
So what you do is you take a box mix, right?
Mhm.
Just like chocolate cake or something.
Mhm.
You pour a little bit of the powder in, and then you put the ingredients in, but you generally don't put egg. So nix the
Yeah,
egg if
okay.
there's any egg on that.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
you put all the other ingredients in, and then you just put it in the microwave, and you cook
What?
it for some amount of time.
And it cooks? But I thought that's what the eggs were for. The eggs are...
Right. So the eggs kind of give them a little bit more of that fluffiness and sweetness.
Okay.
But then you just take the cake bowl and you put like ice cream or whipped cream on it.
Oh.
And you get the same kind of chocolatey flavor
Mm-hmm.
that the cake would give you.
Mhm.
But then you don't have to take the time to bake this item. And you just get a single serving of it instead of a full pan. So I just wanted to see if you were aware
I
of this possibility.
I was not aware of this thing. Have you had it? Have you tried it?
I have. I've tried it.
Eh.
I like it.
You like it? Okay.
But I say this more reserved because I don't fawn over box mixes as much as you do. Based on our previous discussion. So I'm afraid to say that it's just as good because, I'm not a connoisseur as you are
my.
in this realm.
I must sound like a crazy person. I just must sound like a total nutcase.
No, it's like talking to a fine drinker of wine.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I'd be
yeah.
really hesitant to recommend anything to that type of person. And I feel like the
Right.
same in this realm. Like you have experienced the full repertoire of box mixes, I'm sure. So I don't want to
Okay.
lead you on too strongly
Apparently, I have
just
not,
to disappoint you.
because I have never had a cake bowl, which is a shame because that sounds amazing.
I think you should try one of these.
Yes.
And then next time on the podcast, you should let us know how your experience was. Either way,
Okay.
good or bad.
Okay. You gotta send me like a recipe though. Like
Step-by-step instructions
yes. With
from
ingredients.
my wife directly.
Yes, with ingredients and amounts. It's got to be like I don't very often play this game of like, I'm just gonna throw a bunch of stuff in a bowl and see what comes out. No, that's for crazy people.
I guess that's a good point. I wouldn't go to a connoisseur of wine and be like, you just put however much you want in there and add as much water as you want and just kind of mix it,
Right, mix it up.
I should be better prepared.
It's okay.
I need to know the exact year and vintage that I'm recommending
Yeah.
on this cake bowl.
Naturally. I just worry that I'm just gonna mess it up. If I have directions, I can't mess it up, or I can mess it up, but it's not my fault if it gets messed up. And so
Aaron comes on next time. He's like, man, this was awful. There was cake everywhere. It splattered all over the microwave. It was burnt to a crisp.
right.
I hate it.
The ice cream was just ice and no cream, and I don't like it. I don't want it ever again.
The whipped cream was expired by 3 months. and-
Oh, 3 months. Oh, that's yucky.
So I don't understand why you like cake bowls with your 3-month-old expired.
Right.
Do you want me to send you the recommended expiration dates on the items that you use?
Probably.
as well?
That sounds like an important part of of learning and discovering. Like if it's supposed to be a little bit expired, like sometimes milk gets a little bit like if you get it just a little bit expired, it doesn't go bad quite yet, and you can get just the right flavor out of it. Like this is important. Like if it needs to be just barely expired or like never, not even close to expiring, it's important. It's important.
I'll get exact instructions.
Excellent.
From my wife to make sure we got this down.
Thank you. Thank you. I will try them, and I will document, and we can give the people documentation and recipe and follow up on this thing so that many may partake.
Indeed.
I actually saw that cake bowls in the notes, because we have the notes, and you know what my first thought was? So this comes to another problem well solved. Okay, you ready for a problem well solved?
Okay.
Is it okay if I dump one in here right now?
Yeah, do it.
So one day, somebody was eating some soup, and they were like, "Dang, this soup is super yummy." It was so yummy that they started pouring it into their mouths, and they're like, "This is so yummy, I need more." And so they just started like trying to chew the soup, but the bowl was in there, so they started chewing on like a bowl, and that's just not great. And like they probably messed up their teeth a little bit, and just had toothache for a little bit. Just it was all bad all around. But this,
Aaron, is this your personal
no.
experience?
I kind of wish it was. That would be sweet. But so this person.
Sorry, continue.
No, so this person, they probably thought about it a lot, and it probably was in their mind for many years, until one day they looked over and they saw on the counter a loaf of bread, and they thought, "What if I just pour the soup into the bread?" And so they poured the soup onto the bread, and it just made a mess everywhere because it's a loaf of bread. So then he was like, "Well, maybe what if I hollow out a cavity and make the bread like a bowl, and put my soup in the bowl that is made out of bread?" And bam, bread bowls were born. And bread bowls are amazing. I love bread bowls. Okay, because you get to eat this soup the first time. Let's see. The earliest time I can remember having one, I think I had one before this, but one of the earliest times I can remember was in high school. I went to Seattle, and before going on an ocean kayaking trip, we stopped for some food at this seaside, this oceanside, bayside, I don't know, restaurant, and I got myself some clam chowder in a bread bowl, and it was so good. It was so good because you get the bowl and it's like steamy hot soup, and you grind up that soup. Oh, so good. It's got to be good soup. You can't have like some soups I don't like, but you grind up like your yummy chunky soup, and then like once you're done, like there's this bread that's just soaked with soup that you get to eat. It's so good.
So you are one of those people that eats the whole bread bowl.
Oh yeah. Wait.
Okay.
What do you mean one of those? But what is the other option?
So I know people that won't eat the rest of the bread bowl.
What?
Which I find very strange. Like I thought that's the whole point. Like they'll take little bits of it and dip it in while they're eating.
Yeah,
But they won't eat the rest of the bread bowl, which I feel is very silly.
Don't they?
At that point,
they shouldn't have ordered a bread bowl. These people are
right, exactly
wasting my bread. Like.
Order a bowl and some bread.
Yeah,
or order some soup and some bread.
Some rolls.
The regular bowl.
So you can tear up your roll and dip it in the soup, and then wash the bowl and reuse the bowl instead of just throwing away that perfectly good, delicious soaked up bread soup bowl.
I will admit, I'm not like a big soup guy.
Yeah.
But if I'm gonna have soup, a bread bowl is definitely the way to go.
I don't have it very often, but when I do, I go all in with my soup. And I think that's the way to do it. I can't. I can't. They throw it away. Like that's craziness.
I know it's a little cringeworthy when you like visualize it.
I would stop them and be like, "Please, may I eat this bowl?" Because like you're not gonna eat it, and you're just gonna throw it away. Like, give it to me.
You go to this like cafe in New York, and you just like wait near the garbage can. Like, wait, sir, like I will eat your bread bowl for you.
It seems you've misunderstood the directions with a bread bowl. Let me show you with your bread bowl what you're supposed to do with a bread bowl, and then eat it.
Let me demonstrate.
Exactly, and then as they run away from you because you're a little bit crazy.
But hey, you got their bread bowls. So.
You got their bread bowl, and you helped inspire them and show them the correct way to live life.
That's true.
The happy way. Like, I get it if like you're full. Like if you're super stuffed and like you can't finish it, that's okay. Like I get that.
Right.
But if you're gonna order soup and not eat the bread bowl because you don't want to eat the bread bowl, like you shouldn't have got a bread bowl. That's just
right.
End of story. Like I can't. I don't know if anyone could make me see a different way on that one. You know.
I agree.
So anyway, back to the point. So that's a good problem we'll solve is bread bowls, because then it's an edible bowl, which is delicious. But when I saw cake bowls, I thought it was some like variant of a bread bowl that was like cake and like I don't know, filled with like a frosting or like ganache, just
filled
like
with ice cream or something.
Oh, ice cream! Why didn't I think of that? That's a great idea. And then you grind up your ice cream, you eat that stuff, or like pudding. Pudding would be perfect. Like a yummy
like the chocolate lava cakes.
Oh yeah,
Those are good.
That molten chocolatey into, so you can like slurp that stuff up, and then you also like eat the bowl because it's cake. That's where I thought it was gonna go.
Well, I feel like now we have to make that too. We have to compare those cake bowls to the other cake bowls and see if the time and preparation of one is worth it.
It sounds like a get together and make both types of cake bowls. That's what this is shaping up into. I need to find a pan that'll
Sounds
work.
like a lot of baking going on.
Yes. Unexpected from the two of us together. I wouldn't have thought we would become baking buddies, but this might happen. We might start baking.
Then our wives will have to come in and correct everything we did
No.
in the process.
Oh, yes. Dude, if it goes big, if it goes well, man, we could open up a store and sell cake bowls, both types of cake bowls. Oh, that'd be great. It'd be fun.
We shouldn't show them the method for the first one, though. Like, oh, you want this item? Like, we just turn around, open a microwave, throw it in there.
Let me show you where the magic happens and pop open this old dusty microwave. Like, this is where the magic happens.
Can I tell you a totally unrelated story?
Yes, please do.
I was reminded of.
Yes, please do.
My dad used to work at a 7-Eleven, and one day, you know how they have those hot dog rollers?
Hot dog. Oh, yeah.
Where the hot dogs are just kind of cooking all day, and they just like roll on these little bars, and the grease drips down.
Yeah.
To the bottom.
I'm pretty sure like the grease like mists, every 15 minutes, just like psst, all over the greasy, delicious, horrible, nasty
something
food.
like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so one day my dad's at the 7-Eleven, and the lady goes and grabs a microwave burrito from the frozen section, and she takes the burrito out of the wrapper.
Okay.
And she sticks it in the grease tray.
What?
Of the hot dogs.
What?
And she like closes the thing. She turns to my dad and she says, "Sir, how do you operate this microwave?"
No, what? What?
Like she legitimately thought it was a microwave, even though there was all that grease in the bottom tray. Like, so nasty.
That's horrible.
So
That's just disgusting. And now they're out of burrito. Man, that's just not great. That's just. I don't know why she thought it was a microwave. I can't. I feel like microwaves are like one of a kind. Like, you know, a microwave when you see a microwave. Like,
right.
It's got a keypad and a button to open it, and the button's always like flush with the front of the microwave, and then it presses in for pushing it, and then the door like pops open, and there's like a glass plate that's round in there. Like, microwaves, they're self-explanatory. I thought. Until today.
Well, point being, if we ever open our cake bowl restaurant, let's make sure our microwaves are very clearly labeled and look a little bit more pristine.
Yes.
Than that.
Yes. Oh, we can make people microwave their own cake bowl. Why are we gonna microwave them? They can microwave them. We'll just hand them a bowl full of mush and be like, "Good luck."
It's like Build-A-Bear, but instead it's like Build-A-Bowl.
Yes, that sounds amazing. This is a great idea.
basically you choose one box mix and whether you want water or milk.
Yeah,
That's the only two options.
Yeah. Well, and then like you get your choice of what goes on afterwards. Like you can get like
True. That's true.
Frosting or whipped cream or ice cream or sweetened condensed milk or caramel or my mouth got all watery. That sounds good.
Or old hot dog grease.
Or
spills.
You could put Cheese Whiz on it. You could put paper towels on it. You could put Sharpie on it. You know, whatever you want, man.
Ground up Raisin Bran.
Oh, that's so sad. Raisin Bran's already like on the edge of being really sad. It's not, but it's on the edge. Like if you grind it up, yeah, that pushes it straight over. This raises a question though.
Okay.
What's your favorite like healthy cereal?
It's actually Raisin Bran. That's why I brought it up.
Same.
If I eat cereal.
Same.
That's what I usually eat.
Yes. Well, because like Raisin Bran's like the best one.
Well, I like Honey Bunches of Oats as well.
Okay.
But the problem is with other cereals, if you eat them too much, you get sick of them because the same taste.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of the sweet type cereals, the more you eat them, the more it like messes up with your taste buds. Like, oh, I've already had Cheerios again or whatever it may be. I had Cheerios.
Okay, yeah.
The Raisin Bran is so bland consistently that you can eat it at any day because you don't get tired of the taste because there's not like a specific taste you're accentuating in the mouth.
Right. Well, and if you're like me, like you get like a raisin in every bite, so you start chewing up your bite and it's like flavorless mush, and then all of a sudden you get this raisin, and that raisin may as well just be like a chocolate chip cookie because it's so good compared to the flavorless mush.
Yeah, it just gives it, and again, it's still like sweetless.
Yeah,
but it gives you the texture to keep eating it.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird cereal, but I agree. It is one of my favorites.
This makes me happy, deeply, deeply happy.
You had another item of follow-up?
Yes. So we discussed the curse of Wendy's.
The curse?
The curse
the curse that all men know.
Well,
for me.
the curse that we discovered and learned about you. But here's the thing. Okay, so I started driving for DoorDash. It's just like a food delivery service. You sign up and blah blah blah. You get orders and then you go to restaurants, pick up the orders and then drop them off to people, and you make a couple bucks every delivery, and then you can make money. It's a way to make money in your downtime. Highly flexible, great time. And I have to tell you, I think your curse has followed me because every time I get a Wendy's order, I think, oh, this will be quick. Because the Wendy's orders are different from a lot of orders. A lot of orders, they just like, the place will have the food ready for you when you get there, and you just pick up the food and go.
Right.
But Wendy's is silly and very frustrating, because what they make you do is they make you go through the drive-thru and order the food and pay for the food with your DoorDash card. And then you have to go deliver the food. So you're like, okay, well, they pay a little bit more per order, which is trying to make up for that extra time that you have to spend through the drive-thru. I went and did every time I do a delivery through a Wendy's, man, every single time I just think of you and think of the curse and think, man, I shouldn't have done this. There was one day I was like, it'll be quick. There's not much of a line, so I jump in. I get up to the window to place my order, and they're like, "Hold on, just a second." And we're like, like restaurants do, and you're like, "Okay." So I start waiting, and like 5 minutes later, they're like, "Oh, sorry, this is taking so long. We're in the middle of a shift change." And I was like, "A shift change right now?" like it's like 6:17 on a weekday. Like, why is this shift change? And then I finally like it had to have been 15 minutes I was there wasting time and wasting money, and it was just, so I wanted to let you know that the curse is upon us. not just you. And
It's spreading.
I don't know how it's spreading, but I think it is spreading. And so be warned, people. Watch out. Plan your Wendy's trips carefully.
Now I just have been awakened to a terrible fear that I had not previously considered.
Okay.
What if the Wendy's curse is upon you as soon as you realize that you have the Wendy's curse? Like, as soon as you hear about it and you contemplate it, then it becomes fully enforced, and you can no longer ever experience a good time at Wendy's. It'll always be delayed, no matter what. Which is horrible, because that means now all of our listeners may be victim to this.
Exactly.
Wendy's curse.
So...
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it. I should have kept it to myself.
Well, sorry everybody. I'm not as sorry as David is. I think it's kind of funny. So enjoy your Wendy's trips, everybody, because just remember to plan in that extra 15 minutes. This is your life now. Now that you've listened to this podcast, by any means, by whatever means it came into your possession, now you've listened, and now you know, and now you might be cursed.
We're sorry. We're gonna have to think about certain topics we talk about in the future to know if they're also capable of this curse as well.
I hope nothing, but maybe everything.
Or maybe we just need to perform exorcisms after each episode or something. Listeners, just know that we are now aware of the problems we are creating ourselves, and so we will do our best in the future to eliminate these problems as much as we can.
Yes.
So don't run away from the podcast, because we are taking care of it.
We are, yes, addressing the situation and hoping that maybe there's some way to help, but probably there isn't. So good luck with your curse, everybody. Ding.
In the worst case, though, even if you do have a slew of curses upon you, dear listener, think about how much better your life is getting to listen to Aaron laugh every time you listen to the podcast. You know, just think about it. Maybe you'll never get that Wendy's burger in under 15 minutes, but you are one of the few that can enjoy Aaron's laughter on a bi-weekly to monthly basis.
Yeah.
That's worth it to me for any curse, I think.
Yes. And you know what you could do, dear listener? You could tell everyone else and spread the bad news. Spread the bad news about the curse, so that you're not the only one who has to suffer, but you still get to hear David's beautiful wisdom on every topic that we bring up. It's just a beautiful thing.
You know, this is a good point now that you bring it up, Aaron. Like, maybe if we spread out this curse over everybody, then it's not truly a curse, because then everyone just knows, like, oh, it's 15 minutes. Like, that's the wait.
That's the wait.
And so then there's, like, institutional changes that occur. Like, Wendy's now provides gaming areas while you wait the 15 minutes that everyone experiences in the Wendy's. You know, they have live movies playing and TV shows.
Yeah.
There's a designated sitting area while you're waiting, and like you play card games with your buddies that are also waiting 15 minutes. Strangers, you know, are networking with each other. So maybe this isn't a full loss yet. Like, we can maybe turn this into something that could be good for the whole world.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. I love your optimism, David. I love it. I love it so much. My fear is that this will not, as the curse spreads, it won't help anyone. What'll end up happening is Wendy's will go out of business because no one wants to go there because there's a curse over them.
That's true.
Maybe this is Wendy's fault.
What? No, Wendy's can't.
Maybe
be
they
the cause of their
brought
own
the
delay.
curse upon us. Maybe this is their doing.
Well, I'll continue that optimism though. But if Wendy's goes out of business, then somebody will rise up in their spot serving similar food that does not take 15 minutes to get to you.
This is true. This is the beautiful...
You wait long enough, there's always a pot of gold at the end of that rainbow. You know?
Yes, yeah.
So the real question is, we have to figure out, do we need to increase that rate or slow that rate? Because I don't know how long that gap is. You know?
Yeah. I don't know. I say my vote is to increase it. So tell your friends, tell your dog, tell your cat, tell your neighbor, tell your coworkers, tell random strangers on the street.
Aaron just doesn't want to be alone. That's what he is saying here.
Exactly. Tell everyone so that we can spread this news and see what happens. I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait and see what's gonna happen. Let's get it over with. If they're gonna die, let's be done.
Spread the bad news.
Or the good news. This might be good. Right. We're being optimistic. It might be good.
It's true. Well, either way, enjoy your curse, listeners. After looking at our list of topics, I think there's no better way to describe this section than David Complains. Maybe David Complains speed round might also be a good description.
Okay.
There's just been a lot of like little things that come up over the past couple of months that really aren't their own topic in themselves, but I just need to ask them and talk to someone about them because they've kind of just irritated me a little bit, but not enough that I felt the need to interrupt one of our other conversations to insert one of these small topics in there, you know? So I think for the next little bit, I just want to go off a bunch of random short things I need to ask you. And if we have a solution, great. If not, then I just get a complaint and we're good.
Okay. Let's do it. I'm ready. I'm excited.
Okay,
this
ready?
is going to be good.
So, first question. How would you spell the word divvy?
Divvy?
Yeah, without looking it up. Like, how would you say, or how would you spell divvy? Like I'm going to divvy a bunch of things to people.
I would spell, the first spelling that comes to mind is D-I-V-Y.
That's exactly what I thought. If you look it up, there are 2 V's in the word divvy.
What?
Yes, 2 V's.
Huh.
Where else in the English language do you ever see 2 V's?
2 V's?
Like in a row.
I don't know.
Right? Like, it's such a weird spelling to me. And I was just kind of like disgusted. Like, oh,
disgusted.
It's so unnatural to see 2 V's. And again, I say that I'm sure someone can come up with other examples. But it just shocked me. I was like, wow, there's 2 V's in the word divvy.
Right. Well, it's just like, what? This is strange. It shouldn't be like this. Because it shouldn't. Because it should just be 1 V. Why does it have to be 2 V's?
Yeah, it seems unnecessary.
Okay. That's really...
I was just confused. So, quick solution, what would you propose?
Nixed that other V. Freaking kick it out, man. We already got one of you. We don't need 2.
Oh, good. I'm glad we're in agreement. Well, that was easy.
Some letters need friends. V's don't need friends. V's are lone rangers. Freaking.
That's why we have the double V or W, right? In German, it's double V, right?
Right.
So if you want 2 V's, go be German, I guess. Okay, so
perfect. Okay,
there you go. That's my first one.
Excellent.
I feel like we've discussed that thoroughly. Agreed? Okay.
Yes. Bring me another.
Next one. Do you ever go driving down the road and it says stop ahead?
Yeah.
And they put stop first and then ahead second? Like, for some reason, you would be reading front to back.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know really what to qualify that as, but it's just something I've always found really stupid. Because it's not like the words like miles ahead. It's not like stop, drive for 5 minutes, then ahead. Right? It's like
stop,
they're right next to each other. You don't have enough foresight to look forward just a little bit to read the first word.
Right.
The next word.
If you can't read both words, you're following the guy in front of you way too close. Like, that's just it. Because you know what happens when you go over it is every time I look at it, I go, ahead, stop. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's just, again, it's something that's silly that I don't really know why we do that. Like,
Right.
they're really not that far apart to be justified.
Right. On paper, it seems like a good idea because like you read the first word because you're traveling, so like you just read in the direction of travel. But we're so hardwired to read in like starting in the top left and going left to right, top to bottom. Like this is just so ingrained that it's always ahead, stop instead of stop ahead. And I'm like, please.
Well, and it's always only 2 words. If it was like 5 words, like at the next left, make sure to stop. If it was that full sentence, maybe I would understand, like writing it out.
And if they write a full sentence like that on the road, I have more problems. I have more problems with that. Like they have no right. I can't even, like, what good will that do? What good could a sentence like that possibly do? Like,
It's true. So that's another thing that bugs me. Although an interesting problem I read once was if you wanted to print a full book on the road in that format, like how long would the road have to be to print like War and Peace?
Whoa. Yeah.
You know?
Okay. Yeah.
Can you imagine like driving down the freeway and you're just like reading words as you're going, like enjoying a book?
That would make
obviously
driving
not paying
a lot
attention
better.
very well, but
Right. But that's okay. It helps.
it's
at
not
least
important while driving. Right?
Try to keep you focused. Goodness. Wait. So how long would it be?
Oh, it didn't have a solution, at least the one I saw. But it'd be, across the country for sure, easily.
Right. That's pretty. I guess we could figure out pretty easy. It's pretty easy solution. Like,
Right, just number of
if
words.
I had some information, right?
Spacing between them. Now I want to go to calculate that. Tell you what, I'll go calculate it and then I'll put it on the show notes.
Okay. You're gonna okay. Out there on the road with the tape measure, measuring how far apart the words are. David's got it.
Like, I'm doing this to save the world. Like, I don't care if I'm holding up traffic. Give me a second. I need this to be precise.
Excellent. Yes, I like it.
And so, simple solution is either print a book for our entertainment or switch the order.
Right. Just switch the order and put them close together. Like, why can't you do that? Like, people can read.
The nice thing,
read fast.
This would be easy to implement because you could just cover up one. Right? Like, if you have a head stop, just cover up a head and then put a head underneath stop.
Right.
Instead of above it,
Right. Or just, like, cut out the section of road and cut out the other section of road and, like, pick them up and just... Easy.
Like, pick up the asphalt they're on and switch their tiles.
Right, exactly. It's like Legos. You just pick it up, put it down. It's easy, simple.
Because that's easier than repainting, obviously.
Yeah, probably. I mean, paint's expensive, man.
I do have one problem we'll solve to combine in this complaint section. So one beam of light is...
beam of light amidst all this dread and despair.
Talking about roads. I love when roads put reflectors on the highways. You ever seen those? Where instead of like just paint lines, they put
it's like little
the
bubbles.
little reflector pieces along the lines. So it's a lot easier to see.
They do that out in Vegas.
Those things are way easier to see in the dark than the road lines.
Yeah.
Especially like where we live, it's always raining or snowing or
right.
foggy. It's hard to see. And plus, they never repaint the roads because they're awful.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I love when roads have reflectors, and I don't know why we don't just have more of those.
That's totally one of my wife's complaints. It comes up regularly in our household in our cars. So I agree wholeheartedly. Like those are an excellent problem, well solved if they just implement them everywhere.
Yeah, and you can't tell me that those are more expensive than repainting the roads every year, like they do currently. Dealing
with all the accidents and
yeah,
I don't know. It's just like it just seems like a no brainer. Like it's just, I don't know.
Yeah. So I guess it's still complaining. It's a problem we'll solve.
No, we're still complaining.
But we still we need more of them. That's my complaint.
Right.
Especially just major highways, thoroughways. We need those reflectors. It just makes sense.
Yeah. Well, and like, cause like I don't have such a problem driving without them. I don't find it terribly difficult or stress inducing, but like everyone else does. So like, why don't we just put them in? It makes life better.
We can't all be as cool as Aaron. So I think either we all need to become as cool as Aaron, which seems very difficult, or we can just put reflectors on the road. Much easier.
You flatter me, David. I am not cool. I am just unaware of the dangers of the situation. I think is closer to what's actually going on. Just driving along, like I got this. A little too confident, indulging my overconfidence.
Nah, that can't be it. Anyways, so let's get more reflectors. Seems really simple.
Okay, more reflectors, got it.
Especially with as much funding is taken into painting roads every year. It seems like we can easily replace that with reflectors.
Oh yeah. It just doesn't even seem like a problem like that needs more discussion.
Tell you what, I'll chip in the first $1 to get the first reflector on the road. Like
I'll chip in the second $1.
Get the second one. Like
yes.
With as many people live in our city, it should be pretty easy to fund this.
Yeah. Well, and you know what we could do is we could take our $2 and combine them and donate a $2 bill, which is even better than two $1 bills.
I'll even put the reflectors on the road for you. If you will just buy it for us, dear city, I will go out there and start putting them on the road for you. No charge. I won't even charge.
Wow. See, you're committed. I would not do that.
You don't have this issue, so you're not as motivated as I am.
That's true. I don't. Yeah. I pay plenty of taxes.
Anywho, so solution to our problem well solved ? Is put more reflectors on the road.
The solution to the problem is more problem well solved. It's simple. It's a simple equation.
Solve the problem more well, please. Like, come on.
The solution's out there, obvious. It's implemented in many cities. Why not this one?
We still good? Like, I haven't overwhelmed you with complaints yet.
Nah. You gotta try a lot harder.
Okay. Here's my next one. This one comes from my students, and I get this all the time, and it drives me crazy.
Okay.
And it's when you have two options for a test. For example, obviously this won't be on a test, but, should the person at this street turn left or right?
Okay. Yeah.
Simple question to answer.
Yeah.
The answer's either left
or right. Yeah.
But my students, as brilliant as they are, will often put things like yes.
What?
Should this person turn left or right? Yes.
Yes.
That wasn't one of your options.
They just think they're being funny, or they just screwing around or something? Goodness.
I've often wondered if they were just playing around, but I'm legitimately convinced of my students' stupidity.
Wow.
My students' stupidity goes far beyond what I can comprehend in many cases. Let's just put it that way.
Oof. Oh,
yeah, it's not all
good.
students,
That's
but
good.
some continue to amaze me with how poorly they can communicate with the world around them.
Oh, that's good. It's real good.
Well, you have two options, and they're not yes or no.
Right.
You still put yes or no.
Right.
Always.
Yeah. Seriously though, it bothers me too. Two options are given, and just anytime this comes up, I'm just like, just answer the dang question. Like I didn't give you essay answer. I didn't give you this or that. It's two questions, man. Two answers. I mean,
I guess it kind of goes into a bigger problem of just like people not reading everything all the way through.
Yeah.
Another one, continuing with my complaints, is I made a video link that I wanted my students to watch. but I was hosting it on the school servers.
Yeah.
And so the students had to be logged in to their school email to watch the video. So
Okay,
on the
yeah.
assignment description, I put in bold, note, you must be logged in with school email to watch this video.
Oh.
But it was Google Drive, so it like always asks, you know, like, oh, you can request access to see this video if you're logged in with the wrong email. So I got probably 10 to 15 emails from students requesting it from their personal email account of fluffybunny123@gmail. And I just would reply, like, you must be logged in with your school email. Like, you must be logged in. And it happened a good 12% of my class
Oh man.
did that. It was just ridiculous. It drove me
That's
nuts. Like, just read the dang description before you start. Don't guess what the description is. Read the description. Yeah. It's just.
Don't guess.
I mean, I could complain as a teacher this whole time, but I'll end there.
Right.
I think.
Right. Well, see, and I'm guilty of of guessing what the description says, just because like so many times it's the same thing, and so many times I feel like it doesn't matter. But then like every time it does, I feel like kind of an idiot. I'm just like, oh, should have read, should have done it.
You can read through quickly. You just need to read
You just
the
need
whole
to
thing.
read. Well, and like,
Especially when it says bold, note.
yeah,
It's usually a sign that you should read that thing.
Right. That's just like, those are the kind of things that you do definitely read. Like, even if you're just skimming, it's like, this is obviously like, read this, please.
Right.
Please read this, please. 12%? It's pretty good. It's pretty good that you only had 12% of your students failing that simple test. I would have expected a lot higher. Like 50. I was expecting like 50%. So 12% is pretty good. I'm proud of your students that aren't the 12%.
Well, that strangely makes me feel a little bit better, I guess. That maybe my expectations are too high for my students. But
I mean, I just take a good example of a high school student, which was me in high school, and then apply that to everybody, and I'm like, yeah, I could have been in that 12%. It's not likely, but I could have. And so, you know, like,
this
how much
again
do you...
shows the very different school experiences you and I had.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's always a fun comment, Mike, because my wife was really good at school too, and so like it's always fun. It's always fun to talk about school because it's just like, I was kind of a bad student, wasn't I? Yeah, yes, you were. Good times.
This goes all the way back to episode 7, which we'll have to revisit at some point. I have some more thoughts on that.
What happened in episode 7?
The careerification one.
Oh,
Talked
yeah.
about education the whole time.
Yeah, that was a good episode. That was good times.
I have more thoughts, so we'll come back to that.
Okay.
But going to the current problem at hand. Solution, I wish if my students did something that was incorrect on the directions themselves, like answering yes to a left or right question.
Yeah.
2-option question, right?
Yeah.
I wish like just a flame could shoot out of the paper and just like singe their hairs, and like black ink just comes up onto the page and says like, you did not read the directions, you fool. You scoundrel, go back and answer your dang question properly. Or like you did when they try to request the access, like again, just like a robotic arm comes out of the computer and grabs them by the shirt collar and says, don't you dare push that dang request access button because you didn't read the directions. You shall be punished for your insolence. I just want something clear and quick, immediate consequence so that they don't mess with the directions. Like they will read the directions every time.
Immediate horrifying consequences so that they'll never forget. Oh,
I think this is the only way we can solve this problem.
I couldn't agree more. This is grade A solution right there. That's just 10 out of 10 would implement in all things. Cuz like it's so simple but so effective, you know.
Think about how much better school would be if all your feedback was that immediate and that crushing. Okay, not always crushing, but you also need the good. So maybe do the good things. Also, immediately you have positive feedback and goodies and treats.
Right.
Amazing things come to you. But for now, I'm focusing more on the crushing side of my students that are acting poorly.
Well, when you get the answer right, like a pie comes out of the machine, and then like when you answer it wrong, flames shoot out of it, nearly burning you to a crisp and burning down the building.
Small splinters of wood shoot into your arm.
Oh, that's horrible. I don't think I would wish that on anyone. Ooh, that's that's horrible. I do woodworking, and that's horrible right there.
You have to turn in your paper into this like slot. If you turn it in and you didn't do something right, like you get shocked immediately. But if not, like it dispenses money into your hand. Like,
what? It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Although I'd be a little bit concerned because I think I know exactly how I'd handle that situation. I would feel just overwhelming dread every time I had to do anything. I would just be full of dread. Like despite the rewards, it'd be like, but if I mess up, it's horrible. But I like it. I like it. I like it.
I think it definitely would solve the problem of students reading the directions. I don't know if it would solve other problems, and cause other problems, but it definitely would solve that problem.
Yeah. It totally would. And then it could be expanded into, the adult working world where, people are also
the possibilities are endless. Let's just put it that way.
Yes. You can help everyone read the directions so that I don't have to explain it ever again.
Okay, got a couple more. Still good?
Okay, do it. Let's do it.
Another complaint. I don't really know how to handle this. But you know how if you're ever walking and you're talking to someone, like you always got to talk with them long enough to know where they're going so you can know when to split off and be done with your conversation so that you don't end up walking in the same direction still.
Yeah.
You gotta have a good sense of like where they're heading. Like sometimes I'll pretend like I'm turning certain directions even to like get a feel if they'll follow me or go to a different part. Right. You know that kind of problem.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is one of the great problems of like universities and high schools. And it's one of the most difficult problems to navigate.
Indeed. Well, I thought that one was awkward. But a couple months ago, I was at a place with a friend, and I didn't actually know where this friend lived.
Okay.
But we were just talking with each other at this activity we went to. And then after we were done, we both hopped in our cars to head home.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize he lives very close to where I live. So he was just following behind me in the car the whole time.
Man.
So that was even like more awkward because I'm like, do I wave to him at each stop sign? Like, do I even acknowledge that I can see him in the rearview mirror?
Right.
So as bad as the navigation with a person can be, at least if you do happen to still walk in the same direction, you can just like get back into a conversation to make it less
shrug
awkward.
It off with some
but like once you're in the car and you're both heading in the same direction, there's not much you can do at that point. Part of me was almost tempted just to take another road, like pretend I live in a different part of the city or something. But so I don't know what the solution to that one is.
You have brought to me a very, very complicated, difficult problem. Man, I don't know. I have the same problem. Especially when I was in college, I had this problem of just like, you have to learn everyone's schedules so that you don't talk to your friends too long or too short because
Right.
it's so awkward to walk the same direction and be like, oh, hey, yeah, surprise, we're both going this way. Or like you go out of the classroom and you stand there for a minute talking story and then you're like, okay, well, I got to get to class. And then like you both leave in the same direction and you're like,
Yeah.
I got to get to class, but I guess we can keep talking because we're going to the same direction. Like, great, this is awesome.
Right.
I think one of the solutions that comes first to mind is to be prepared to to do ridiculous things. Not ridiculous, but like this is the age of the smartphone, and you can get away with a lot with a smartphone. I don't know, like if you're done
Like
talking,
pull over
to
to
them,
the side,
exactly. Like pull over.
calling someone on your phone that you don't need to talk
Yes, yes. Calling someone, texting someone, start playing a game on your phone, and just wait and see what happens. And then like as soon as they're far enough away, then you can just keep walking. Then it's not weird, the awkwardness goes away. Or like the other option I can think of is to like learn your routes really well, so you know that you can take route A, but if at any moment you need to, you can just turn left and still get to where you're going. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Hang a right and still end up to class on time, or to wherever you need to go on time. You know, alternate routes.
I just had an idea that might work even better than that.
Okay.
Of course, as always, right? Rather than put the responsibility on myself, I'd rather just have a technology solution that solves this problem for me, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So what if everyone just had an app that has their schedules in there and has their routes to their house, etc. You don't have to know other people's, but everyone has their own personal information in there.
Yeah. Okay.
And then
yeah.
you like you friend people just like you would on Facebook or Instagram, whatever. And then like if you're near one of your friends and their schedules lines up or their maps line up, then it gives you like a warning on your phone, like a little
that's
red
great.
buzzer, like don't break the conversation yet, or don't get driving yet. Like
it shows you the path for which you both will be walking in the same direction, and you can like choose to wait up for them, or you just keep walking, and no one has to know, or then you know exactly like, okay, well, see ya, because then your phone tells you you're both going in different directions. It's a great idea.
Right.
I love it. It's perfect.
Well, it'd be less awkward too, because if you are going in the same direction, then you don't wait in the classroom because you both see the dot, the red dot, like, oh, hey, we're heading to the same place,
Right,
like, oh, good,
right.
like talk with you while we're going.
I like it, but what do you do about people who aren't your friends, like acquaintances, and people
that's a good
who,
point.
because you can't have just like a New York City subway map to follow. It's just
Right.
it could get way complicated really fast. What do you do about acquaintances though?
You could have like a people nearby. The app detects people that are nearby, and you can look in that list. Oh, like your name's Jonathan, eh? Oh, hey.
Right.
Why don't we walk this way for a bit? Like heading that way? Oh, I just need to check something on my phone really quickly.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm heading this way too. Like,
let's go this way for a little while. We'll go this way for exactly 1,000 feet, and then I will say goodbye, and then we don't have to talk ever again for the rest of the day.
sounds brilliant to me. I can't think of any other.
Yeah. No, sounds good to me. Problem solved. Next, I got that stamp. I got a big stamp with green ink. Just you stamp it in the ink and you stamp it on the paper. Problem solved. Next, you just take it and put it in the pile and pull another one down. So what's your next problem for me? I'm ready.
I think I got 3 more.
Whoa, dude, you got a long list.
If you can handle it.
Oh, I can handle it.
We can save them for later if you want to do round 2 later. But...
No, I am mighty, and
Okay.
I can handle these things.
Okay, next one. Have you ever had a pair of shoes that is just super squeaky when you walk down the hall?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
anytime you're on tile, it like squeaks.
Yeah. Yep.
I had a pair of shoes that as soon as you bought them, like the first day they were fine, the day after, I'd walk down the hallways at the high school and they'd just be squeaking the whole time, which was super awkward when you were giving a test and it's supposed to be super quiet and you're like walking around to the students and all you hear is what? Like it's gotta be super distracting to the students.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly, because you're just like, all I can hear is every time he steps, it squeaks.
Yeah.
Because you're supposed to be. Yeah. It's horribly distracting.
So you would think as far as our civilization has come, that we'd be able to make a pair of shoes that doesn't squeak when you go in the hallway. And I found this pair of shoes.
Oh?
I had this amazing pair of shoes for like 6 months, and it was awesome. Favorite pair of shoes I ever bought. Everything about them was great. They had the correct covering on the top, didn't squeak on the bottom, had perfect traction too. Like the traction on the bottom was amazing.
Yeah.
And then they stopped making that set of shoes. Like you can't buy them anymore.
What?
Like
No.
you find them on Amazon for like $120 because they're no longer in production. Why did we stop making the most perfect pair of shoes ever invented? And why is it so hard to make a pair that doesn't squeak? Like, this surely can't be that difficult of a problem to solve.
Right. I have one possible solution. I don't know how much you're gonna like it, but I've got this this can sitting by the stove right behind me. Let me just a second. Let me go grab it. Oh dear, sorry, listeners. Technical difficulties. Please hold. All right, I'm back. I have this can in my hand. It's a spray can, and it's Vegeline seasoning spray, buttery delight. And the thing that we do with this is we spray it on pans to keep the food from sticking, right? You just get your can of Pam, and you just take your shoes and you just and done. Because what causes squeaking, right? Squeaking is when there's enough grip, enough friction that it holds for a second, and then it releases, and whatever material it is or whatever, blah 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 blah, makes a sound when it slips, when it no longer has traction, right? So what if you just remove the traction?
I was going to say, I feel like this is going to have the opposite effect of what you're thinking.
Really?
Instead of removing the squeakiness, I think it's just going to decrease your traction and make everything slippery and still cause squeakiness, because the squeakiness is actually generally the rubber rubbing against each other, not the tile and the rubber.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at least from my understanding. So
it
would just make everything more slippery and still have all the same
and
squeakiness.
still squeaky. Dang. Okay. Well,
so I'm tempted to try it just to see what would happen. Maybe we need to do some studies.
Please have a spotter or something to make sure that you don't like fall on your head, because I can just see it. You spray it on your feet and you're like, let's go, and you just whoop, and just like in a cartoon where you whoop.
I can just like slide down the hallway.
Yes.
Without any problems. It's completely frictionless.
Can you just imagine a David sliding down the hallways saying good morning to students as he glides past them? Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I would love to see this thing.
Just with my arms behind my back, leaning forward slightly, you know.
Yeah. Exactly. Students clearing a path so that they don't get smashed into. It's beautiful.
Although I don't know how I stop when I get to my classroom, but
that's what the
just push off a wall and try and aim.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, that's what walls are for. They stop you. You just have to be careful.
I'm like zigzagging down the hallway, pushing off walls as I go to get to my classroom.
Well, see, and it'd be extra fun when you have to walk around for test time or whatever. You could just, instead of walking around, you could just stand there and just like grab people's desks and slide past them. Just standing, sliding past people.
Like you're going around the edge of an ice skating rink.
Yeah, exactly. Just looking down upon all these. Yes, I like it. I think it's worth a try.
I don't think that surface would quite be that frictionless, but it would be interesting to see what the effects would be.
You know what we could do? Why do we make ice skating rinks? Well, we made we didn't make we made ice skating rinks because they looked like because it's a controlled frozen lake now instead of just frozen lake. But anyway, when man first started sliding out on frozen lakes, the whole point was that it was slippery, right? So what if instead you just take your shoes and you have this mold, and you fill this mold up with water, and you put your shoes on top of the mold, and you put it in the freezer. Okay. And then in the morning, when you're getting ready for work, you just pop on your shoes that are your ice shoes instead of your skates. They're ice shoes, and so you just go sliding that way.
Okay, this is definitely the most interesting solution to this problem that I was not seeing as a possibility. But
it wouldn't squeak. We wouldn't have that problem anymore. That's great. It's great.
True. But either way, it's just ridiculous because they've done this before.
Right, yeah.
You can do this.
Yeah, it's totally doable.
Dear Nike, you have made a shoe that you have removed from me. You have taken my joy from me.
Taken it back.
And ceased to make this shoe. I don't understand why.
Right.
Why have you removed this bounteous gift from the world when all could be enjoying shoes that don't squeak? I don't understand.
Probably simply to spite you. That's probably what it is.
They saw I ordered it, and so they removed it.
Right. They're like, "Oh, this will make a great section on the show, on the podcast."
Possible.
Definitely.
So, I got 2 more complaints in my complaint corner.
Let's do it.
But these ones aren't as much of complaints, more as things I just don't understand as much, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And they both happen to correlate with like marriage and traditions in marriage and stuff.
Okay, this should be interesting.
I think this will be something that we can both relate to, being both recently married.
Yes. Okay.
And so the first one is thank you notes for wedding reception gifts. Can I ask you, first of all, did you do thank you notes for your wedding reception gifts?
I started them. I got maybe 7 done out of just like so many.
Right.
Because there's so much work.
So maybe this is an old-fashioned tradition, but just for the listeners, in case they don't know, wedding receptions, at least around here, if you're given a gift at the wedding reception from somebody, it's usually a tradition that after you get back from the honeymoon, etc., you will take the time to write a thank you note and send them back to the person for their gift.
Right. Yep.
And I find this very odd.
Okay. Why?
Because especially, for example, I have a lot of certain extended family members that I've never see like hardly ever that send us gifts and stuff.
Yeah.
And so my mom's like, "Oh, you have to send a thank you note to so-and-so or they'll be really upset because they took the time to send you this gift, etc."
Right.
And it just kind of confused me because me and my wife, we spent like a full week, like 5 hours a day, like taking all the time to write hundreds of thank you notes back to people.
Yeah.
And we even cheated because I was doing some through email and like Facebook.
Right.
To save on postage and stuff.
Yeah.
And so first of all, it's just like a huge expense for all the postage and shipping.
Yeah.
For the brand new married couple. Like that's part of the reason that you have the reception is that so you can get them all these things because they can't afford all these things for themselves right out the bat.
They're broke.
Right? They can't afford a full kitchen of supplies and stuff, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so then to do that and then like right after be like, "Oh, but we also want you to send $100 worth of mail back to people to send a thank you note out of formality."
Right. Yeah.
Right. So it's just kind of a strange concept that way. Like if you think about the couple. But then on top of that, what other situation do you give a gift and then expect a thank you in the form of a letter?
Right.
It seems quite strange. I can understand if the person was not able to attend the reception and they still sent a gift.
Yeah.
It makes sense to like send a note back like, "Oh, thank you. Like we really appreciate it. We're sorry you couldn't make it."
Yeah.
But everyone that came, we talked to you at the reception.
Right.
We thanked you in person when you were there. We said thank you. Like, it's good to see you.
Ooh, that's
right. If we need to, I will also say like thank you for the gift at the wedding reception. Right? I could have done that. Right. That would have saved me time. You know, like let's get it all taken care of. Like while we're there.
I could have inserted that into like my standard response to every person who is there, of like, oh, thanks for coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for whatever gifts. Like, okay.
Yeah. So just to go after that and give another thank you note that takes hours of time for everybody and all this extra money of postage.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me of why it's a tradition we do.
Right.
I can see the distance people, but everyone else I don't understand why we take the time to do this.
Right.
And the other thing for me that's a little strange was a lot of the people that came to my reception, at least mine and my wife's reception, were friends of my parents. Not really friends of me.
Yeah.
They're people they used to work with or old family friends.
Right.
So a lot of these people that came with gifts, I don't even know directly.
Right.
So I don't even know what to put in the thank you note.
Right. Like, thank you for the gift.
Yeah, I just put thank you for such and such gift.
Thanks for supporting us at the wedding reception. Yeah. It's just.
So it's awkward to write. It's awkward to formalize. There's just so many weird things about it, and I can't really find a whole lot of good things.
Right. Well,
if that makes sense.
No, I agree. But this is one of those topics that, like, I have a really, really hard time, like, pinning down how I actually feel about it and what I actually think should happen. On the one hand, I'm a stickler for tradition and for, like, this is how it should be and this is the right way to do things. And on the other hand, I'm like, this seems like nonsense almost. But see, I say those words. Right. I say those words and it's not true entirely. Like, because I can see why it makes sense and why it's a good thing to do, you know? So I'm like, I'm just like stuck.
I kind of have the opposite opinion on tradition. Okay. I'm not someone to throw out every tradition, but if I don't know the reason why we're doing a certain tradition, like it's just the way that's always been done and no one's ever questioned it.
Right.
I'm very willing to start questioning those types of things and be willing to throw them out.
Right.
Well, if it's just tradition for the sake of tradition, there's no backing to it, then I don't understand why we keep it.
Yeah. David's over here just throwing the fiddler off the roof. Just down with tradition. Actually, I probably shouldn't quote that because I actually don't know that movie well enough. Anyway.
You got it right.
Oh, okay. Good. Tradition. Yes. Okay, good. So you got David over here throwing the fiddler off the roof, which is great. That's good. That makes me happy. But it makes sense though, because at a minimum level, like the thing that's good out of it is that you're expressing gratitude, which I think is a healthy thing for everyone to do. I think everyone, no matter what their circumstances, should be expressing gratitude for the things that come to them in life. But at the same time, like, I don't expect a thank you note. Like, maybe a thanks if it comes up, you know, but like, I don't,
right.
It's not a thing that crosses my mind really. And it seems silly to me for anyone to get upset or offended that someone forgot, you know. There's piles of stuff to do. It's one of the craziest times in your life, and it's just like,
yeah.
I don't know.
That's true. That's a good point, though, about the gratitude, which I haven't really thought about because, I don't know, I consider myself generally a grateful person.
Yeah.
But maybe that's something that a lot of people need to make sure they do. I think part of the problem is that I focus on the people that do expect a thank you note.
Right.
And I'm just sitting there going, well, if you want a thank you note, like if you expect a thank you note, then I don't want your present. Like, I don't care. I don't want to be your friend if you're that type of person. Just throwing over the tea table. Like, I don't care what your opinion is. You gave the gift. Like, that should be independent of how I respond.
Right, exactly, you know? Exactly. Like, if you're only giving a gift to make sure that you get recognition, like that, I don't believe is a good thing to do. Like, that invalidates, I want to say affection. Affection is the word that comes to mind. That invalidates the affection that is shown by giving the gift. Because it's like, okay, well, now you're not doing it to give me a gift. Now you're doing it to get recognition and status and, you know. But that's not always true like that, though. That's the problem. Is it's not so simple as that.
I wish there was you write one letter and somehow it is transported to everyone. But
right.
It doesn't cost you money.
Oh, I could be like a chain letter. That would be awesome.
For example, you could put a Facebook post or an Instagram post saying thank you to everyone that gave us gifts. Like we're overwhelmed by everyone's generosity,
right,
et cetera, et cetera.
Et cetera, yeah.
But the problem is most of the people that came to your reception are probably not your Instagram or Facebook friends.
Right.
So like I want that, but I also want to go out to all the old aunties and such that are my mom's friends that are never going to see Facebook.
Right.
Only receive snail mail, I need a snail mail equivalent that bursts out to the world and all the people that went to the reception. So you could write it once so you still practice expressing gratitude. And you take that moment to reflect and go, oh, yeah, like we really were blessed by everything that was done for us. But it doesn't require hours and hours and hours of time for this formal tradition that is based on a time where there was less people probably attending a reception and less gifts and less connections in the world. So
I don't know. This one's just really I don't know about this one. I'm scared to propose any solutions just because it hits too close to home. Because like I tried to start like thank you notes, but like and then at some point it's like kind of too late.
Right.
It seemed like a year after I'm kind of like, should I still send out the 7 that I did? Do I still do it or is it just gone? And did I just miss this opportunity to write a bunch of cards, and like they don't take a long time, but it's just I don't know, it's just one of those things. It's just like each individual one doesn't take very much time, but when you put them in a whole, it's just it just takes forever. And it's like I can't just print out a bunch.
I did have a solution that came to mind. What if you did that same thing? You like wrote one long-ish letter that is the thank you note that represents for everybody.
Yeah.
And then you write it before the reception.
Oh.
And you just have a bunch of ones like ready to go.
Yeah.
So you could be lame and just like hand them out as people come.
As they come, that's great.
But you could even be better because especially for like the older folk, you could just like sneak it into their purses. Like, and then they don't realize they got the thank you note until later.
Sneaky beaky, like.
You could turn it into a fun game. You get your siblings or whatever to try and sneak it into people's belongings so they get the thank you notes after the reception.
Oh, this is good. I like this.
They put it on people's cars, like in the windshield as they park.
Hey, wait, no. Don't crack jokes about that. I had to do that for one of my sister's weddings. I had to go around and I tied ribbons to antennas.
Oh, wow.
I don't remember if I left a note either, but I can't remember it though, so I guess it was good times. It was good times because, it must have been.
Or you have a kiosk next to the entrance of the reception.
Okay.
That says, do you want a thank you note? Mm-hmm. If so, put your email here.
Yeah.
You can only get the thank you note through email, which would already save a bunch of time.
Right.
You didn't have to send any snail mail versions of
Yeah. Which it's like, I get it. It's like highly impersonal. Like some people like really value the physical note. That's like an important thing.
I'll send you a PDF that you can print. How about that?
If you're feeling sentimental or you need to keep this for your records, please just print this email out.
Well, I was telling my wife, like, I felt bad for anyone that's getting my notes because my handwriting's horrible.
Same.
Like, I should not be writing anything down.
Right.
Which is funny because I'm a teacher, but physics is enough mathematical symbols. My students can usually get it. But I shouldn't be writing, like, words and full sentences. It's a bad idea.
Right. Like, I can't compose a beautiful page of notes. Like, it's not that. It's just, I have the same problem where I'm like, this looks like a teenager wrote it. Like, yikes. And that's because I still write like I'm a teenager because I don't write anymore because it's not part of my job.
Well, and my mom always complains about my handwriting. Why is your handwriting so bad? Why didn't you practice it more, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just sit there and I think, well, I can type almost 100 words per minute. I can write about 10 words per minute.
Right.
The ratios are not even comparable.
Right, yeah.
So why would I bother spending time handwriting stuff when I can type so much faster?
No, yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so if we're going to solve this problem, I agree. I think there should be some form of it, but it should be either through email or some single version that you write that's longer and can be more personal.
Right.
But this whole writing an individual handwritten note and mailing it to every single person that gave you a gift is just too much.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Especially, again, going back to the newly married couple. There's just so many other things you have to worry about.
Right.
When you're first married. That's just not something that should be a problem.
Right. And then, it's just one of those things that if you just don't get done immediately, like, does it ever happen? Like, I don't know.
Right.
And, like, am I grumpy that it didn't happen? Well, I'm grumpy that, like, I'm going to have to hear about it and feel bad about it because other people think I should have done it. But it's like, and it's doubly hard because I'm the kind of person who doesn't care. Like, I just don't care. And so, like, It makes it hard to care about it when I have to do it for, close to several hundred people, it's just...
You wouldn't be motivated or excited to get a thank you note, so it's very demotivating to you to want to write them.
Right, exactly.
Because you know that 20% of the people are going to appreciate it and the other 80% are going to see it and then throw it away.
Right, yeah. Yeah. It's complicated. But I like my favorite idea for my favorite way to solve this problem, sneaking it into people's stuff. That's my favorite so far.
You just need some like invisible ink or something, some invisible oil you can just put it in.
Yes.
Because obviously creating invisibility would be amazing in itself. Right?
Right, yeah.
Not hard to do, obviously. But you put in some invisible ink and you throw it in their belongings and then later it becomes visible, and then they're like, "Oh, I must have pulled this out of the mailbox and not realized it."
Oh, that's really sneaky. Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. Ooh, that's good. That's good.
So we're almost out of time. The one other thing that I wanted to mention, and this one really isn't a complaint or anything. It's just kind of funny about being married. But I just want to see if you had the same experience. Okay. You ever had a situation where, like, it's like a Saturday morning and you and your wife are getting out of bed, trying to get ready for the day, and you're just, like, trying to talk to each other about the day and, like, figure out plans for the day while you're still just kind of laying in bed, waking up?
Yeah, okay.
Whenever I do this, I have this weird problem where I'm still, like, sort of dreaming. Like, my mind isn't fully awake. And so sometimes I think I've told my wife something, but then I realize I just said it in my head, in my dream, instead of actually saying it out loud. Does this ever occur to you or ever happen to you?
Oh, dear. This does not happen to me, but a very similar thing happens to my wife. She'll begin talking about something like I was supposed to know. And I'll be like, what are you... She's like, did I tell you that? I'm like, no, you must... She's like, oh, I must have just, like, said it out loud in my head or said it in my head. I'm like, yes. So I think I can sympathize with your wife on this one.
Oh, good. I'm glad I don't sound totally insane.
No,
but
it's not.
It's just that first 5 or 10 minutes when you're waking up.
Yeah.
For me, at least. I swear I'll, like, tell her something, and then I realize I did not say it out loud. I said it to her in my dream, like, in my mind. Because I haven't been able to separate, like, waking up and real world versus dream world in those few minutes for some reason.
Yeah. That's hilarious. And I don't think there's a problem here. I think this is good. I think this is healthy. As far as I know, it happens to everyone. because you're the only other person I've talked about it with. So this happens to every couple as far as I'm concerned.
There's always at least one member that has this problem.
Exactly. And so it's nothing to worry about. You just life.
I just wish I could have like a checklist of like things I said in Dream World that I could like compare with against to show my wife, like, did I say these things in real life or was it just in Dream World, you know?
Right. If you had a better memory of the dream world, then you wouldn't have to worry so bad because you'd be able to tell the difference clearer. Because like when you're in a dream, it's obvious that you're in a dream. Like ridiculous nonsense happens in dreams. And so like you should be able to tell when it's one, when it's the other. And therefore, like if you just have a better memory, you'd know exactly which one was which. And yeah.
This comes to another problem too. This is going to sound weird, but when I dream, I'm often dreaming about work, right? I'm sure a lot of people do, but because a lot of my work is programming, sometimes I dream directly in code.
No.
Like I'm visualizing looking at a screen and I'm like almost programming while I'm asleep.
No, that's crazy. Really?
Yeah, like I sometimes see like lines of codes in my dream.
Whoa.
And I'm sure they're probably just like nonsense, you know?
Yeah.
Like I'm aware I'm looking at a screen or I'm typing code or whatever, and it's probably just nonsense. But sometimes I wake up and I just sit there and I wonder and I go, what did I program? Like maybe I programmed this amazing thing in my dream and it just is all for naught because I wasn't actually aware enough to realize it was this beautiful program. Right?
That's awesome.
It's probably just garbage, but there's always just that little bit of me that's wondering, was it more?
Yeah.
Was it a vision? Right? Like,
What's this
there's something amazing that I could program if I just could tap into my inner conscience.
Right. Like my brain was clearly working on this problem for me. Like I could just, if I could just extract the work that I already did, I might have a solution. Like I wouldn't have to work so hard. Oh, it's yes.
Anyways, I don't know if it's a problem or what, but it's just something that's funny that I've noticed.
That's hilarious.
We just need dream remembering devices.
Right.
Just stab a fork type looking thing into my head.
What?
Pull out my dreams from the night.
I like it. If you want a practical solution, my practical solution is never discuss anything of import at the edges of sleep. Like,
I'm not talking to you right now. I gotta go shower first.
Exactly.
I gotta wake up.
Right, exactly. Well, because like I have this problem on the other end where I'm in bed, and as soon as I'm in bed, the only thing that I want is to be sleeping. Like I'm in bed, and now it's time to sleep, and I just want to sleep. So I'm trying to sleep, or I'm like really tired, and so I'm starting to fall asleep. And anytime my wife tries to talk to me when I'm falling asleep, it's like she didn't even say anything. It's like I have no memory of any of it. And so it's like we just shouldn't talk about anything that matters to either of us close to the times when we're awake or asleep. This is the solution. I think that's the practical solution.
That's fair. Well, thank you, my friend. I have released a lot of inner turmoil from my soul due to this discussion we've had.
Good.
Though I hope we won't make David Complains a consistent member of the podcast.
What?
But
I thought the whole podcast was just for our complaints. I thought that's what was the point.
That's true. Maybe just David Complains speed round will be more rare to the podcast.
Maybe. See, now this is making me think I gotta get me a speed round. I could get a pretty mean speed round going if I thought about it long enough. We'll see what happens. No one knows.
The suspense is building.
Yeah, exactly.
We have lots of things to look forward to. You tasting cake bowls.
Yeah.
Us wearing frictionless ? Shoes.
Frictionless shoes.
And Aaron Complains section or speed round.
Speed round, yeah.
The Aaron Complains speed round.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Exciting developments.
Yes, the future is bright and should be full of much entertainment. Unless you don't find this podcast entertaining, in which case I might suggest not listening too much longer. But it doesn't change much.
If you didn't find this podcast entertaining and you're still listening at episode 15, then
why?
You have your own issues and problems to solve.
Why are you still here? Like, I appreciate you being here, but why are you still here?
But please stay here.
Please stay.
And enjoy the podcast.
We like you.
Many good things are coming ahead.
Yeah, and we'll get better at this whole podcasting thing. We're already pretty great, but, like, we'll get better.